Jonathan here. I am sorry about not uploading on Wednesday. I tried to, but unfortunately my internet was very slow, and it never even got to 1%. I left it on for like 10 minutes, and it normally only takes like 3 or 4 to upload a video. So I just gave up on that, and hopefully I do get it uploaded on Thursday. But yeah, because I'm recording Wednesday to record Thursday's video. So I try to record a day before I upload. That way that everything works out okay. But this is going to be a deck I like to call the Foggy Army. And the reason why it's called the Foggy Army is because you fog until you get your army. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. But it's green, red, and white, which I don't know what that's called. Unfortunately, I have forgotten. But so, on to the deck tech. It should all be a super duper budget too. Assembled Legion is the most expensive thing in the deck as far as I know because it's $1. But our win con, we run 4 of Assemble the Legion. It's a 5-drop enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion, and then you put a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste on the battlefield for each muster counter on Assemble the Legion. So the turn after you play it, you put 1 counter on it, you make 1 soldier. The next turn, you put another counter on it, and you make 2 soldiers. Put another counter, make 3, so on and so forth. And so it builds up really quickly, and it is our win con because of how quickly you can make the 1/1s. If you get 2 of these down, which I don't know how that would happen, but in case you have to stall it to get 2 of them down because your opponent's like running some sort of pseudo life gain, you should be able to take them out fairly quickly unless they have like infinite life, and at that point that would be a small problem. But you get the idea. That's our win con. So sort of to support the win con, we run. I only have 3 copies of Charmbreaker, and because I can't find my 4th. I have a 4th somewhere, I just can't find it. So for now I'm running a Pokashite. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, it's just in there as filler right now. It's another copy of Charmbreaker. But so Charmbreaker it's a 6-drop. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +4/+0 until the end of turn. You can swing in with it if you ever wanted to. I don't, because it's so valuable just to return the instants and sorceries, because literally every other card in the deck is instant, a sorcery, or a land. Like, that's it. Just Assembled Legion, Charmbreaker. But so that's why that's in there. It gets really helpful later in the game, but we need time to play these because those are like late game drops, and generally you don't interact with your opponents. Your opponent's got all their stuff on the board. So this is what we use to ensure that we have time to play them. So it's called Chronomatic Escape. It's a 6-drop, but it has Suspend 3 for 3. So that on turn 4, or no, on turn 5, when you've got 3 like open mana, and then you have the 4th one, that way that you can fog, you're gonna suspend this. And so it says, and so you suspend, you would put 3 counters on it after exiling it from your hand by paying that suspend cost. And then each upkeep you take a counter off of it. And so when the last counter is taken off, you cast it for free. This card says, until your next turn, creatures can't attack you. Remove it from the game with 3 town counters on it. So every 3 turns, you get to cast it for free because it resuspends itself. And so you can't be attacked for that turn every 3 turns. So that gives us the time that we need to play the Charmbreaker Devils. Gives us the time that we need to play the Assemble the Legions. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My tablet just cut out. I don't know what's up with it, so I don't know if you could hear, but I did say get Charmbreaker out before Assemble the Legion using the Chronomatic Escape. But moving on from that, it's a really good card. I don't think it was that much either. Rerun 4 copies of Fog. Prevent all combat damage that we dealt this turn. It's 1-drop instant. You're going to want to save that for the turn where you get the Chronomatic Escape up. But yeah, you get the basic idea. There's one of our Fogs. Rerun 2 copies of Undergrowth. You could run 4, I just couldn't find 2 more. It says it's an instant, no creatures deal damage in combat this turn. If you pay 3, in addition to its casting cost, it does not affect red creatures. Our soldiers are red, so this is like one that you save in case you have to like hit in, but you don't want your soldiers to die for some reason. Like, I don't get why we make a ton of them anyway. Rerun 4 copies of Roots. Do we run 4 copies, or we might not? Hold up. No, we only run 3. We run 3 copies of Root Snare. So it's a 2-drop prevent all combat damage that we dealt this turn. It was reprinted in 19. If you can replace 2 of them with Haze of Pollens, I suggest it. I just couldn't find 2 more. But Haze of Pollen, prevent all combat damage that we dealt this turn. It's got cycling for 3, so a lot of the times you'll cycle it if you have to find an Assembled Legion or a Charmbreaker Devils. And if you have Charmbreaker Devils down, you can draw a lot of cards, surprisingly, off of some of the cards that you can get in your graveyard, especially with Haze of Pollen having that cycling. So those were 2-drop fogs. We're into our 3 now. So we run 4 copies of Spore Cloud. It says tap all blocking creatures, which we won't even be blocking, so it doesn't really matter. No creatures deal damage in combat this turn. Neither attacking nor blocking creatures untap as normal during their control's untap phase. So basically, they swing in with stuff. If it doesn't have vigilance, it doesn't untap. It's a really good fog. It buys us an extra turn if we need it. And then we run 3 copies of Cleaning Mist, I guess. I thought that we ran 4. Oh, we do. It was just stuck in the... Yes, we run 4. But Cleaning Mist, it's a 3-drop prevent all combat damage they dealt this turn. Fateful Hour, if you have 5 or less life, tap all attacking creatures. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. And then we have, in case we need them, Reclaim. It's a 1-drop instant, return target card from your graveyard on the top of your library. So basically, we use this in case our Assembled Legion or our Charmbreaker Devils gets killed off and we need it back. And so then if we get a Charmbreaker back, then we can just get the Reclaim back. So if you understand, unless they get exiled, it basically cycles itself and our stuff doesn't die, which is really helpful. Then we run 2 copies of Gaia's Blessing. So or Gaia's Blessing. I've been told it's Gaia's, not Gaia's, but anyway, it has 2 purposes, well, 3 purposes in the deck. So you can shuffle up to 3 cards from target player shuffles 3 cards from their graveyard into their library. So if you're playing like multiplayer, you can choose other opponents, but it helps us reshuffle what we need if we ever get it. Then you draw a card. So if we can get it into the graveyard, then bring it back with the Charmbreaker, we can draw cards constantly. And when it is put into your graveyard from the library, you shuffle your graveyard into your library. So it's anti-mill. It's like a really helpful thing in this deck. So yeah, that's all of our non-lands. We'll move on to the lands. So all the lands are non-basic, and all of them have green in them because, as you've seen, all the fogs take green mana, and we have to have that green mana. So we currently run 1 copy of Cause Undue Refuge. It enters tapped, you gain a life, taps for red or green. Then we run 4 copies of Rugged Highlands. When it enters tapped, when it does, you gain a life, and then it taps for green or red. We run 4 copies of Timber Gorge and 2 copies of Gruul Guildgate. They enter tapped, tap for red or green. Then we run 4 copies of Blossoming Sands. It enters tapped. When it does, you gain a life, taps for green or white. Then we run 4 copies of Tranquil Expanse and 4 copies of Selesnya Guildgate, which enter tapped and they tap for a green or a white. So you get the basic idea there. If you wanted to upgrade the land base, you could try to get more of the cards that make you gain a life when they enter. But so yeah, that's the deck right there. Now, some fun things that you can do with it is there's some other multiplayer formats where like there's Two-Headed Giant, obviously, where this is a great deck in Two-Headed Giant because your opponent or your partner can sort of be there doing stuff when you run out of fogs or at the beginning of the game, and then if they're playing a combo deck, you can let them combo out by fogging every turn. And then there's another format called Emperor, where it's like there's an Emperor in the middle, and you'd want to be the Emperor if you're playing this deck because of how it works. But there's an Emperor in the middle, and you got 2 generals on either side of you. And so, and then there'd be an opposing team set up the exact same way. If the Emperor loses, then the entire team loses, and if the Emperor wins, then the entire team wins. But each player has their own individual life totals, and they take their own individual turns, and so one of the Emperors goes first, and then you go left from there, so clockwise from there. And if you're playing as the Emperor, you can set up your combo because you can't be attacked, because generals can only attack other generals, and the Emperors can't attack until one of the generals has died. But you get the basic idea. You can look it up online. I'm sure that there's rules there. I use MTG Familiar, I think, and I can get the rules there. But so, and it's not a website, that's an app, by the way. But so, in the thing, you can set up your combo and fog for your generals when you need to, and then each creature has tap. Give it to target teammate. But the way that it's set up, like one of your generals can only target you, but you can target both your generals. So if a general wanted to give something to the other general, they have to give it to you first, and then you have to give it to the other general. But because your assembled legion creatures have haste, you can just tap and give them to the general that takes their turn after you, and then they can swing in with a bunch of 1/1s, and then you can fog for the other person all day. And so it's a really good Emperor deck if you wanted to do that. I just thought it was really fun to build, and I'm having ideas, like you could even use this with Winter Orb if you wanted to, because I've been having ideas of using Winter Orb, Icy Manipulator. You can look up these cards, I'm not going to explain them right now. But Winter Orb, Icy Manipulator, Arcblade, Reality Strobe, Chronomatic Escape, and I think it's Voltaic Key or something. But so you use those in the deck and you basically win. And then if you can get 3 of the Chronomatic Escape set up, you get the idea. And then you run Treasure Trove and War's Toll, and you basically let your opponents kill themselves if you're playing multiplayer. And that's just what happens. Otherwise, you just wait for your opponent to get so mad and die to Arc Blades, and it's just so much fun. But that's an idea for another day. Plus, it's a little bit expensive, so I don't own the cards for it. But if I ever do, I'll give you a deck tech on that. But thank you guys for watching, and that's been the Foggy Army. Thank you guys for subscribing as well. I've hit 13, so I'm going to upload the 13 subscriber special on Friday. If you guys want to be a part of that, you can put down in the comments your idea for a Triskaidekaphobia deck, and you can go on to MTG Goldfish or TCG Player to build the deck. Triskaidekaphobia, by the way, is the Fear of 13, so you can look it up to figure out what the card's called. But yeah, I'll give a shout out to the person that's got the best deck, and then I'm probably going to do a shout out for the person that's got the most budget, because I'm trying to do budget-friendly decks. Like, this one's really budget as well. And so I didn't specify that in my other video, and I'm sorry for anybody that's already uploaded, but that's fine. I'll do the best one and the most budget, and then I'm going to upload my deck tech for it as well. So thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't subscribed already and you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you like this sort of content, or if you want something different. I can try to do a ton of different things, but thank you guys for watching so much.